The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Thank you, Tally Olson. I am back, and you are comfortably zoned with me, the Zig Zag Man in Alameda, California, right across the bay from San Francisco, across the moat from Oakland, in the northern part of the state. And I'm happy to be here because all three of my guests are here. We're going to talk a little Mets baseball. We're going to talk a little current events, as we must do given the state of the world. But let me introduce my guests. First, the Rose Brothers. Marty.
Yes, hello everybody. Glad to be here.
And Bernie, it's you have to differentiate the voices carefully. Bernie?
Yes, very carefully. Hello there.
Okay. Now, Marty, we'll start with you. Another voice test so people can know when they come on who's Marty and who's Barney. And I could even complicate things. Martin Rose and Bernard Rose are now Mert and Barn. But that's another story, and I have another guest, too. He is the esteemed Dodger historian, one of the foremost Dodger historians on the Internet, I might add, and a Met aficionado, Tally corrects me, aficionado. That's Mr. Robert Cole. Robert Cole, how are you?
Good. How you doing, fellas?
Good. I got you all together. What do you want to talk about first? The Mets, much to talk about there? Lindor signing? Or can we talk about the eve of destruction?
Your show, Ralph.
Yeah, can we get Barry Maguire on the program?
Wouldn't that be great? Or he's juicing, or is that his brother that's juicing? Well, there's no relationship. The other Maguire. Little humor, guys. Gotta see Barry Maguire. McGuinn and Maguire couldn't get no higher in L.A. You know where that's at.
That's what they were aiming at. Yeah.
That's what. And no one is getting fat except the kids in school today because they get no exercise and they eat crap. But and Mama cares. This is starting out silly. To break the tension, it is Monday night. They have. Let's talk about current events first, and then we'll get to Lindor and the big signing. But got to get current events off my mind, and then we'll get on to the candy store of life, which for us is baseball.
Right.
And,
well, it is January 11th, 2021, just to get that straight.
Right, and we have gotten back the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and Bernie Sanders comes on, not to be confused with Bernie Rose. Bernie Sanders comes on and warns us all that in 2010, all three branches were Democratic, and they didn't do diddly. So we've got to be very careful and monitor what gets done. It's not going to be an automatic getting the country back. And I have to admit, I'm a little disheveled, if you will, by the prospect of armed rioters in every state of the union, every state capital of the union, the prospect of that. So, with that as an introduction, I'll go in chronological order. Robert Cole.
Chronological order, and it comes to me. Okay.
I don't even know what chronological means.
Okay. Well, what I was thinking was this. Okay, we all were born just after World War II. Okay, and as we grew up, and as I grew up, and I took social studies in school. And, we learned about what happened in World War II with the Germans and the Japanese. And I used to say to myself, how could all the people of those two countries just fall under the spell of Hitler in Germany and the Emperor in Japan? And now I've lived it. Okay, now I've actually seen it with my own eyes in my own country. Okay, and it's very easily done.
Conservatively speaking, 41% of the United States of America believe that those elections were fixed and that Trump should be president, and they have no respect whatsoever for desecrating, holy institutes. It really gives me the creeps. And those are the people with the guns.
It was sickening. And now, tonight it's coming out that some of the police officers, the the Capitol police officers, were complicit. They were investigating.
And a detective from Philadelphia is standing charges in his precinct for contributing to it as well.
There's going to be a lot more, if you ask me.
Well, there will be.
Okay.
There will be. They're doing it little by little. I sort of think that they're going slow because they want to get Trump out because they're concerned that he's going to give blanket, amnesty to all of these people.
Right. It's not just that, his family. If you can get him out without him doing any more pardon damage, that would be great. And promise to pardon him and then say, fuck you. That's what Pence should say. Because Pence was trapped in the Capitol building with his wife and kids. And Trump didn't care to call and make sure he was okay for 3 frickin' days. Unbelievable.
While the siege was going on, Trump was calling other Republican senators, trying to still convince them to vote against, the vote. He mistakenly called Mike Lee when he was trying to get the senator from Alabama, the old football coach, and Lee gave his phone, to the senator that Trump wanted. He was trying to convince these guys while they were under siege, while they were being hidden in the bowels of Congress. He was still trying to convince senators while this was going on to vote against it, and some of those schmucks still did.
Of course.
And how about the woman senator who's hidden under the table with 2 or 3 other senators or congresspeople who don't have masks? Sure enough, she comes down with the virus 4 days later.
Yep.
These people aren't even smart enough to wear masks among themselves.
They were asked to put them on, and they refused.
They have a videotape of them being offered the masks, during it, and they said no.
And people coming in, not just themselves, exposed to people coming in and breathing air in their space. And I'm sure the bulk of these rioters had no masks on.
Oh no, they didn't.
And,
in fact, on their websites leading up to it, they were explicitly told, "Don't wear masks."
Amazing, isn't it?
And people
Okay,
go, let's see. I'm going to break into the Senate, federal offense. I'm not going to wear a mask. Coronavirus. What else can I do?
Yeah, let me put myself on video. That'll be good too.
And how about the guy who had his name tag on where he worked? He had the badge where he worked. I look for absurdity in life. And it's very easy now. I don't even have a comedy writer says, "Hey, I give up. Everything's funny. How am I going to compete?" It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts.
But you have to remember, okay, they wanted to be seen. That was a badge of honor. They actually thought they were going to win. They actually thought this was going to happen, that they were going to keep them from voting. Okay, they wanted to be seen. They were honored to be seen. They may not be so now that they're getting arrested, but I mean, they actually thought this was going to work, and so did Trump.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there are all four of us can think of times where we didn't quite think things through enough.
Yeah, but you're talking 70 million people.
Ralph, I spent many a day in the principal's office doing just that.
Right. Okay. Marty can tell you about Alicia. Take him down to the dean.
Mr. Couch.
Mr. Couch.
Tina. Tina.
I was just talking. No, I talked to her, the Spanish teacher Hazel at Newtown High School. Yep. She talked to me and asked me a question, and I made it a badge of honor not to open one book, learn one verb, learn anything in Spanish. So she'd ask me a question. I go, "No habla español." Whatever she asked me. And there was a kid, do you remember Mert? His name was Victor LaGreca.
Yeah.
And he sat next to me, and he would just break up at whatever I'm saying.
Yep.
And whatever I say, he's making Victor laugh. Take him down to the dean. And even when I didn't want to make Victor laugh and go down to the dean, Victor would laugh, and I would go down to the dean.
Well, there was some crazy kids in that class. There was this Stephen Schwartz guy. I don't know if you remember him or not.
I do.
She handed out these yellow slips of paper, and you had her. It was a test every day. There was a vocabulary test of 10 or 20 words that you had to memorize. And she hands out these little yellow slips of paper, and he would Miss Artist, and he'd pick up the paper, tear it in half, say, "My paper ripped," in front of everybody. He'd do that, and then he pulls the Dick Hertz. He writes Dick Hertz on the sheet of paper for his name, and she actually does it. She says, "Who's Dick Hertz?" And all the guys go, "Mine!" Everybody raises their hand. That actually worked on her. It was hysterical. No wonder
it wasn't me. Somebody cut her beads.
Yeah, the poppy beads all over the floor. Yeah.
All over the floor. Well, who did that with the poppy beads?
I'm surprised anybody passed that class. I know I did.
I got the lowest grade in Newtown history that year, which was a 19. Now, my mother, the final grade was 19, but all year long it would start at 38, go down to 34, the report cards. So, and it would be in red at 19. So I changed it to 4. You could see 49. So my mother says, "Well, I have to give you credit. At least you tried." to get better. No, sometimes you could get it by the old lady, but most of the time you couldn't. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I was not the best of students, and not the best of adults either. So it's carried over. All right. I am really, seriously, you're not serious. Okay, let's talk. Are you guys there?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we're here.
All right, good. All right, good, because we're going to talk a little Nueva York Metropolitan.
Yeah.
All right, who's for the Lindor trade and who's against? This time we'll start with the youngest of us, Bert Barn. Bert,
Harry.
Yeah, and Harry, right? Soon enough.
Yeah. Who could be against this? I mean, if you're looking at the Mets, this is. I sent a text over to Mert because I saw it before he did.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, I have to check on this." You can't be against it. I mean, everybody. I'm shocked, really. The rumors for the last year and a half about this guy, and they actually dealt him. They got rid of him. And the Mets pulled off the deal of the year.
Okay, let me give you my one big reservation. You have to sign him, or they gave up 2 of their 3 shortstops for a shortstop that may go bye-bye.
Right.
And
well, yeah. Right.
You have to sign him long term. That's it.
Well, case in point, yeah. Just look what happened last year. I don't know why the Mets can't do the same thing. I thought the Dodgers were going to end up renting Mookie for the year, and at the time we didn't know they were going to finally win. But but then they signed him to another 12 years. The Mets have to do the same thing. Now they have the money.
That's the big thing.
I wouldn't quite go 12 years on anybody, but that's all right.
No, I wouldn't either, but still.
No, he's 29. I mean, he actually stated that he would negotiate before the season. He said before the season or after the season, but not during the season. So they got a chance now for a couple of months to negotiate. And frankly, I didn't follow the American League that closely. I mean, I knew who he was, but I didn't know he was that good. And I looked up his stats and everything, and this guy is really good. And they got to, and I'm sure they will offer him what he wants, as long as it's reasonable. Yeah.
My only other question, and then I'll let you guys take it in any direction you want. My only question will start with Robert Cole. Why has Nemo been devalued? Do you know what I mean? In the Mets' eyes.
I don't think he's been devalued. Okay, I mean you're putting him up against everybody wants Springer. Okay, well you put Springer and Nimmo next to each other. Springer is the much more valuable ball player. If you don't get Springer, okay, Nimmo can do the job. But
the next step, aren't they talking about Mickey Bradley Jr. now, or
Jackie Bradley Jr.
Jackie Bradley.
Yeah. He's the big defensive guy, Right. So I mean, Springer would be the better offensive signing, but he's another guy that wants a lot of years. Now, I don't know if they're ready to do contracts, with both Lindor and Springer at the same time. I mean, I understand the guy's got billions of dollars, but I don't know if they want to do that. And I heard the general manager on an interview, and he said he loves Nimmo, he loves his at bats, and they got him penciled in left field. And they said, Sandy said Dom Smith is a first baseman. So it sounds like they don't want him in the outfield at all. So Nimmo's going to be in left because they didn't think he's that good of a center fielder. So I think they're definitely going to sign a center fielder. Now, whether it's Springer or Bradley Jr. or somebody else, I don't know. But that's what I think.
Okay. How about third base?
Well, they said at the present time, J.D. Davis is the third baseman. He is the third baseman. Again, there's other guys available, but I mean, the names they're talking about, like the Chris Bryant.
Chris Bryant.
It's another guy that's going to want mega.
Going to want a lot of money.
Yeah, and he's what, 29 or 30 also.
Well, what I was just reading before we got on was that because of the Lindor situation, that the Mets are pretty much letting themselves out of the Chris Bryant scene, leaving it open for the Dodgers.
Ooh.
So if the Dodgers
too.
actually do that, then the Mets can look at Turner.
Not at 36.
Turner wants 4 years.
Yeah, he's 36.
Go back home again.
No.
I think the Dodgers are probably going to sign Turner, but he wants 4 years, and they're balking at it. So he may be still out there. I mean, I don't know that it's going to happen. I'm just talking out loud.
Yeah, wouldn't it be something if he could come back and help them win? But how about the guy from Colorado, who I think is the best third baseman I've ever seen coming in for the bunt? A swinging bunt.
Nolan Arenado?
Arenado.
He is an unbelievable defensive third baseman. And I wonder what it would take to get him if he's on the Mets' radar.
Well, he's supposedly on the trading block, but he's making mega bucks also.
Yeah, he's got a huge contract.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got like an 8 or 10 or 12-year contract also.
Right.
So
isn't it nice to root for a major market team?
Well, sure, it'd be great for him to go from Colorado to New York. What a difference! But it's going to take a big deal to land him. They're going to have to give up.
Yeah, but we're a major market team. Let's go for it. It's not our money, and if they didn't think it was worth it, they wouldn't spend it. And hey, we can't be on a 10-year building program when you're 74 years old.
And they're not going to be. But the point of it is, he has a big contract, and it's going to cost a lot in players to get him.
Yeah,
Colorado's not going to give him away.
That's what I was getting at.
All right.
Once again,
well, you'd start with J.D. Davis, for instance. Just as
see, that's the funny thing. All you guys, like on the website, okay, all make these deals, and J.D. Davis and this guy and that guy. Teams don't want that. All right, they want, like the Indians wanted Jimenez. He was the key to making that deal. Okay, it's going to cost McNeil. It's going to cost Conforto. It's going to cost Smith. Those are the kinds of guys that these teams are going to want. That's what the Cubs are asking for Bryant.
Conforto's
He'll start with Neil.
Yeah, Conforto's only got 1 year left also. So they're going to have to negotiate with him this year, too.
Right. I have a wish that they don't get rid of McNeil. I don't know. Whatever it takes, I think McNeil is going to be a spark plug on a championship team. That's all.
I like him too.
He's a professional hitter. I mean, he's a professional hitter, and they don't come around all the time. And he's a team player. Play wherever you want to play.
He doesn't play really well at anywhere but second. And now, because of what's his name, Cano's discretions, he's got second base wrapped up, and they don't have to put him in left where he could do the job if you had to, that kind of thing. I think he'll be much better.
I agree.
Full-time second baseman.
He stays put, absolutely.
No, they're not going to trade their top guys. They're not going to do that. They don't. The Dodgers did the same way. People wanted big prospect names, big names. That they refused to do that. The Mets are not going to do it either.
Yeah.
Well, like I don't think they will. Not with the management group they have now. No.
Exactly. You just gotta. They're just going to have to pick and choose who they want to do. If they do the right things, they could be in it for a long time.
Yes, let's hope so. As we come up on 30 minutes, what a great show. I enjoy your company. The three of you guys are such an upbeat group of Mets fans and an upbeat group of liberal thinkers. What a combination all across the nation.
Yes.
Who's that? Was that Valentine?
Just like baseball and Valentine.
Baseball and Valentine. Mel Allen, how about that?
Just look for the 3-ring sign and ask the man for Valentine.
And now to the scooter.
They used to drink
thanks
beer.
A lot, Mel.
They used
thanks
to drink
a lot, Mel.
beer on TV. Do you remember that? They used to actually drink the beer on TV during the commercials. Yeah.
Well, I remember stories about Harry Carey, but I didn't remember stories about
I remember seeing it on Channel 11 back in the day. Yeah.
Yes. They used to smoke and drink it right on camera, and Mel Allen was known to imbibe quite a bit.
Yes. Absolutely.
I think that led to his firing, as a matter of fact. At a time when he became a martyr in New York for that firing. Very lucky that we grew up with that group of folks. Mel Allen, Red Barber, Phil Rizzuto. It just could not get better.
Oh, those guys were great. No doubt.
Absolutely.
Nice memories, guys, and we'll be back when we get back, but let's do it real soon. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
Well, yeah.
Maybe. I'm not shortchanging any of you guys. Anything that's on your chest that you'd like to get off of your chest, please do, Robert. Anything to say?
Okay, let me publicly take this right now and renounce the fact that I was ever a Republican.
Well, I renounce the fact that I don't think the Republican that you were was a Trumpite. And let me give you a lot of credit for recognizing the two. There are a lot of Republicans that just could not take not being a Republican. because it sounded, because their dads or their granddads were Republicans, and they thought, they couldn't give up that the mythology that it was any different than Democrats. I contend that there are Democrats with the same feeling. I see where the Democratic Party doesn't appeal to the same people. It doesn't appeal to me as when I was a kid. I think the Democratic Party, as it is with Biden, is a moderate Republican Party, and I think that Bernie Sanders, his genre, if you will, represents a 1939 FDR Democrat. I'll go to you for your reaction to that, Bernie Rose.
Well, I would agree with that in part there. It has reached a point where it's just incredible to me. It just really is incredible that the Republican Party stands behind this guy and continued, even as all of that had just happened, to stand up and lie about this election in Congress while they're counting the freaking votes. Just unbelievable. And Bernie, I love Bernie's take on things. Unfortunately, a lot of his terminology doomed a lot of what he was trying to do, because the other side was able to use it against him. Although I'm not sure that in the end is what sunk his candidacy either 4 years ago or now. But I agree with that. The progressive movement is where more of the Democrats are right now, and I think it's where they should be.
Okay, but the word socialism ironically turned off a lot of people.
That's what I was alluding to. Absolutely.
Right. The word socialism, if no other of those words, and isn't the vaccine that we're getting socialism?
Of course.
And right, that and the stimulus. What's that? Socialism.
What's Medicare? What's Social Security? What's everything that
exactly
all these people are moaning about? They're not willing to give it up.
Because they went to the dictionary and they found out ism, and they went to communism. They couldn't get by the other isms that weren't communism. Socialism. It was Mussolini killed the word. And people are ignorant, and people are scared to give up capitalism, which doesn't work because of two things: the disparity of wages between the bosses and the workers, and greed, out and out greed. If it did work, we wouldn't need socialism. But doctors shouldn't be making $450,000 a year. That's just no question. And they should, if they do, should be taxed at 95%. Anything over 100. And because people, why? Not because they don't deserve it, because people are starving and they are out on the street, and their kids aren't getting educated. That's why. Just you got to be human. You reach a certain amount of wealth, and you got to give back, and that's socialism, and that doesn't scare me. I'm sure it doesn't scare anybody out there that's listening. Our families, for instance, who's listening. You know what I'm saying? In other words, if you turned off to socialism, don't call the fire department, as an example.
Yeah, but don't forget, okay, Trump carried Florida, okay, because the Cubans that live here and the Venezuelans that live here and the Haitians that live here, okay, all got scared and frightened by socialism and communism. And Trump just pounded that down here in Florida. The Republicans pounded that down here in Florida. And that's what that won Florida for the Republicans.
Yeah, both of our governors, California and Florida, just are ineffective for the wrong reason, different reasons.
Well, this guy here is not just ineffective. He's
that's what.
He's an idiot.
Well, yeah. I like to think that Newsom has his heart in the right place, but he locked down California. There is a lockdown for all but essential workers. Well, guess what? Nobody keeps that lockdown. Nobody enforces it. So there are a lot of non-essential businesses open because they have to be to feed their kids, this, that, and the other thing. Blah, blah, blah. What's happening is the pandemic keeps spreading, and it wouldn't if there was a lockdown. 50% of the people don't wear masks. 50% of the people say they won't take the vaccine. They're screwing up on the amount. There's more out there than people are putting in their arms, run by a bunch of inefficient fools. And I'm the guy who is a super senior at Newtown. If I, which means I didn't exactly graduate on time, okay? That's what it means. All right? So I'm not the brightest light on the set. And I can fully understand what's going on. And yet a bunch of these senators are denying, to this moment, they are denying the vote. They are denying the legitimacy of the vote. And it goes on. But like I tell you,
Cruz and Hawley have to be forced to resign. They have to be. I don't know how you make that happen, but somehow, some way, and these ones in the House, 140 of them, that somehow, some way, they've got to pay. Censoring them just isn't enough.
In every spy novel that I've ever read, with like circumstances, and there were no real like circumstances to this crap. But long before it got to this way, some CIA guy took a shiv. That's all. And it was the end of it, and the next guy came in, and it was better, and he died a martyr, and this, that, and the other thing. But something's got to happen. I don't know, but I do know it's great drama.
I just heard tonight that they got 1 million doses of the vaccine in Florida, and they can't figure out how to get it in people's arms. Sitting in refrigerators.
Sounds like Florida to me,
yeah.
And I'm sure it has a limited shelf life.
I'm sure it does, yeah.
Well, not in the freezer, but once it comes out of the freezer, it has a very limited shelf life.
Yeah, and then you got people waiting online in the car for 8 hours. What the hell's the matter with these people? Can't they figure this out? My God.
Well, look at our state here, Mark.
Bad.
Okay, every county is up to their own devices. Every county is doing it different.
Yeah.
Some counties you wait online, like in my county, in Pinellas County, they opened up a reservation line, okay, on the phone and on the computer. The computer system broke down. The phone system broke down. I was trying to get on, okay, when we had the vaccine here, okay, I couldn't get through. When I finally got through, I got a message, well, we're all out, okay, try again next time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what all the messages are right now in every county. It's unbelievable.
Yep. Oh, as the plot thickens.
does do that.
Sickens and sickens.
But, okay.
Sickens
Guys,
and sickens. Mostly sickens. Thank you for a great show, Marty Rose, Bernie Rose, Robert Cole. Thank you again.
All right, guys. All right.
Okay, guys.
Don't forget to duck and stay safe.
Yeah.
Don't forget to duck.
There you go.
They go hand in hand. Till that time, guys.
Right.
Thank you for listening, everybody. Comfortably Zone Radio Network. I'm Ralph Tycho, the weak link of it all. Adios.
All right.
Night.
Good night.
The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.